நமஹ. ஆழ்வாரும் பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். Hare Krishna, everybody. So today, Prabhuji said we could do Tulasi Mahatmyam because it is still Karthik Masam, and we just had Tulasi Kalyanam. It was celebrated on the Dwadashi. And Tulasi has very great significance during this month, right? And we are doing today Tulasi Mahatmyam. And Tulasi Mahatmyam is, where do we find it in our text? We're all very familiar with how Lord Krishna or worship of Narayana using Tulasi leaves, right? That's what we do. And we all say Tulasi is Krishna's favorite. And so we worship Krishna with using Tulasi leaves. And then we all know the story where, Satyabhama thinks she can outweigh Krishna in lot of ways. But then when Mata Rukmini comes and then she puts one dalam of Tulasi, Krishna is equal to that weight, right? So all the sampada and just a little bit of Tulasi, way equal. So the importance of Tulasi and in worship, or many of us health-wise, we all know Tulasi is really good for us. That's where we all start with. But there are a couple of things. Tulasi is the most, what do we say, purest, pavitram, right? Tulasi is something we cherish as pavitram, is the most purest. Why? We also have heard the story of, every time there is Tulsi Vivaha at temple, if you have attended, then they will tell the story usually a little bit. We will also go over the story, but most of our resource about Tulasi is coming from Skanda Puranam as well as Padma Puranam. Okay, Skanda Puranam and Padma Puranam. And as soon as we even think of Tulasi, we know it is pavitram, it's pure, right? And then immediately we can feel the scent of Tulasi. And always we think, even though we have so many things to worship Krishna with, beautiful garlands, beautiful, lot of naivedyams, offerings for Krishna, but everything is incomplete without offering Tulasi to Krishna, right? That's the greatness of Tulasi. You may offer Krishna 1,000 things, but everything is offered using Tulasi. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because anything offered with Tulasi is what Krishna will accept. That is one. And then the fragrance of Tulasi. The fragrance of Tulasi, Krishna is just happy when you adorn him with Tulasi Mala. He's happy with the fragrance of Tulasi. Okay, so he will outweigh. He will wait. He will become as light as Tulasi. And then whatever in the story of Satyabhama, you know the story of Satyabhama and Rukmini.
Yes.
Yeah. So there also, when Tulasi is offered, he becomes very, very light. And then we also know Krishna went all around Vrindavan. What is Vrindavan? Is, again, he roamed around. Maybe sometimes I always thought this. Every time a lot of things. Suddenly you eat something or smell something, and then you say, "This is how, this is how my grandmom's place smells like," or "This is how my mom's perfume is like." Right? You associate certain smells to certain places and certain people from your childhood, right? And Krishna, being Krishna, he was going around in Vrindavan. And Vrindavan is what? Is Tulasi Vanam, right? It's a forest of Vrinda, right? Vrinda Tulasi. So he would go there, and then that smell is something that he had always, and so he liked the smell of Vrindavan. Okay, so and then what else? How so? Krishna loves Tulasi, and so Tulasi Tirtham, right? Every time we take Tirtham, what is it has? It has Tulasi in it, so it's Tulasi Tirtham. And when you look at our Puranas, there is a very beautiful shloka. ये कण्ठलग्नतुलसी नलिनाक्षमालाः ये बाहुमूलपरिचिह्नितशङ्खचक्राः ये वा ललाटफलके लसदूर्ध्वपुण्ड्राः ते वैष्णवाः भुवनमासु पवित्रयन्ति. Okay, this shloka, this is how Vaishnavas are dressed. And then ye kantalagna tulasi, who has tulasi in their kantham, okay, they will purify the entire world. They will purify the entire world. And there are also, so I told you, right, Skanda Puranam, Padma Puranam, Bhavishya Puranam also has given some and Bhavishya Puranam also has importance of Tulasi in it. And if you look in Skanda Puranam, in the Vaishnava Kandam of it, in the Ashtama Adhyayam, there are rules. So you have Tulasi at home, you have Krishna at home, you have to worship Krishna, right? So every time you pluck Krishna, every time you pluck leaves for Krishna, Tulasi leaves for Krishna, do not pluck them as is. Okay? There are shlokas that need to be said before we pick shloka. Why, before we pick Tulasi leaves? Why? You have to take Krishna, you have to first pray to her, and then you have to take her permission to pluck them. Okay, because you have to tell her what is the purpose. Okay, Tulasya Amrita Janmasi Sada Tvam Kesava Priye Kesavartham Lunamitvam Varada Bhavasobane. Okay, I am taking you Kesavartham Lunamitvam. I'm taking you to worship Krishna. Tulasyam Amrita Janmasi Sada Kesava Priye. One who is favorite of Kesava. I'm plucking these leaves to offer to Keshava, to Krishna. Okay. So whenever you pluck Tulasi leaves, you need to say this shloka before you pluck. Do you know that? Do you use say this shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, yeah. Otherwise, that Tulasi is not to be used. And then in Bhavishya Puranam, uh, um, Tulasi Trividha Loke Krute Shweta Prasasyate. So there are three kinds of Tulasis. Okay, one is Krishna Tulasi, we say, right? And then of the three kinds of Tulasis, Shweta Tulasi is the white Tulasi. That is considered to be very important. That's what is given in Bhavishya Puranam. Okay, and then you're all doing what with Kasam Prabhu? You are doing Mukundamala. You are doing, right? And where is the reference to Tulasi in that shloka in Mukundamala Stotram? Have you gotten to that part of Jihve Kirte Kesavam? No. Jihve Kirtaya Kesavam Muraripum Cheto Bhaja Sridharam Panitvandva Samarchaya Achyutakataha Srotradvayatvam Shrunukrishnam Lokaya Lochanadvaya Hare Hare Gachangri Yugmalayam Jigra Grana Mukunda Pada Tulasi Murtanna Madhokshajam. So Jihve Kirtaya Kesavam. Why do you have this mouth or this tongue? Why do you have that? So that we can do the Kesava Kirtanam, to do the Kirtanam. So this has to be used only to do the Kirtanam. And then Bhaja Sridharam Pani Dvandva. You have both your hands. What are the use of two hands? Two hands. You do you bhajana, right? Kartal you use, or you clap, bhajana. Similarly, then ears you have to listen Krishna Katha. Eyes you have to see the Krishna Rupam, right? All of this. Then what is the purpose of the nose? What is the purpose of nose then? The purpose of nose is Grana Mukunda Pada Tulasi. The Pada Tulasi. Yes. The point is to take, the nose is blessed only when it smells the Pada Tulasi. పాదముల వద్ద ఉన్న తులసిని అది ఘ్రాణించటానికే మన యొక్క నాసికం యొక్క ఏమంటారు, ఇట్స్ ద మెయిన్ రీజన్, ద పర్పస్. ఓకే. అండ్ దెన్ దేర్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో, so the purpose of tulasi, we have so we just started, and then we were just going over the little bit of greatness of tulasi, the purity of tulasi, and having tulasi mala is important. And in Tulasi Mahatmyam we have to tell a shloka before we pluck tulasi leaves. Take permission, tell her that we are using tulasi leaves only to offer to Krishna. And then of the three kinds of tulasis, the Shweta Tulasi is very important. And in Mukunda Mala, just like we have eyes to see the Rupam, the ears to hear Krishna Katha, the mouth to do Krishna Kirtanam, and then hands to do the Krishna Bhajanam. We have the nose only to smell the Mukunda Pada Tulasi. Okay, the Pada Tulasi offered to Krishna. And then another aspect is, so there are also months during which we have to plant tulasi, and there are some times of the year when you should not plant tulasi. Okay, there are those rules also, when to plant tulasi, when not to plant tulasi. So तुलसी रोपणात् चैत्रे आदिव्याधियुतो भवेत्, वैशाखे कीर्तिमाप्नोति, ज्येष्ठे तु मरणं व्रजेत्. So Chaitramasam is when? During March, sometimes it comes the first month of the year, Chaitramasam, right? That time you can, at that time if you plant tulasi, then diseases may happen. And why, if you plant tulasi in Vaisakam, it is really good, that you gain a lot of fame. And in Jeshtam, it is Jeshtamasam is the third month, Chaitram, Vaisakam, like that you get all the the Telugu names of the months. I'm assuming it's the same in other languages also, but a little bit different it could be. So in Chaitramasam, Jeshtamasam, no. In Vaisakam, okay. Ashadamasam, okay. Shravanam is also okay. Bhadrapadam is also good. Asvaja and Karthika, no. So only Jeshtam, Asvaja, Karthika, there you are discouraged from planting them. Perhaps because as the cold weather comes, right, it becomes very difficult for her to survive. We see that living in US, right? The winters are difficult months for us to take care of Tulsi Maharani, right? So that's why they say, as you go further, during winter seasons, they're discouraged to. That's what our Bhavishya Puranam and Skanda Puranam are referring as when to plant. And then Tulasi Mahatmyam. Tulasi Mahatmyam, we can go over the there is one story in Narada Puranam that is very popular. We'll go over that. And also in Tulasi Mahatmyam, again, Skanda Puranam, our Puranas, Padma Puranam, it is given. So, तुलस्या शृणु माहात्म्यं पापग्नं पुण्यवर्धनं यत्पुरा विष्णुना प्रोक्तं रमायै तद्वदाम्यम्. So, in this, Mahavishnu Swayam does the Upadesam to Mahalakshmi about the greatness of Tulasi. Okay, and then he says, what happens if you what happens if you plant Tulasi? What happens if you take care of Tulasi? What parts are important? How do you worship with Tulasi? So he has given a lot of information about Tulasi Mahatmyam. So before we go to that, let's look at how many of you are aware of the story of Tulasi and Salagrama? So depending on the Sampradayam you belong to, Tulasi and Salagrama Vivaham is celebrated on the Dwadashi that we just happened. It's called Tulasi Dwadashi, we say, right? Tulasi Dwadashi, and they celebrate on that, and then a wedding takes place, right? So where did Tulasi come from? So when the Ksheerasagara Madhanam, so in Madhva Sampradayam, the Kalyanam is done. Kalyanam, Tulasi Kalyanam is done. Even in some Smartha Sampradayams, Kalyanam is done. So, which is more popular. Okay. So, when this Ksheerasagara Madhanam, what is it? Churning of the milky ocean, right? Ksheerasagara Madhanam was going on. Sri Mahavishnu, he came in the form of Dhanvantari. Who is Dhanvantari?
He brings medicine.
Yeah, Devata.
Doctor.
Yeah, Dhanvantari. Do you know there is a temple for Dhanvantari? Where? There's one in Srirangam. Okay, there's one in Srirangam. I don't know other places, but that's the only place I have seen. Okay, so Dhanvantari comes with a kalasham of Amritam. Okay, and looking at this Amrita kalasham, a couple of drops of tears from Sriman Narayana Hari, they fall into this Amrita kalasham. And with those tears, Tulasi was born out of these tears of joy that from the Amrita in the Amrita Kalasham. So because she is born out of tears of joy, she gives joy, and she is none other than Swayam Mahalakshmi's Amsa, or expansion. Okay, and that's why they do Kalyanam, Tulasi and Salagramam, and we'll get to that story also. And Tulasi and Sri Mahavishnu, they what is it? On Karthika Shuddha Dwadasi day, right? We just had like, today is what? Today is the day after Purnama, Karthika Purnama, Pratamam, right? So 4 days ago we had it. Okay. So, and it is said wherever Tulasi is present, Sri Mahavishnu himself is present there. Okay. Sri Hari will reside wherever there is Tulasi garden, a pond with lotus leaves, and wherever Vaishnavas reside. Tulasi kananam yatra yatra padma vanani cha vasanti Vaishnava yatra tatra sannihito harihi. Tata sannihito harihi. That's where Hari stays. Where Tulasi kananam yatra. Wherever Tulasi is, yatra padma vanani cha. Wherever, in whichever forest, Padmam, in whichever pond lotus flowers are there, Vasanti Vaishnava Yatra, wherever Vaishnavas are there, Tatra Sannihito Harihi, that's where Hari is. Okay, so when you say, so we going to the story of Tulasi. She was born as King Dharmadwaja's daughter. Okay, she was born as King Dharmadwaja's daughter, and she used to be very beautiful. And like we said, she is none other than Mahalakshmi's expansion. Okay, and then the king used to call her Tulasi. Tula means Tula means equal, right? Tula. And then what Vishnu wore the garland of Tulasi so that he could be always with her all the time. Okay. Okay. There are, so again depending on what sampradaya you follow. Okay. In Madhva sampradaya, Jambavati. Jambavati is considered also an expansion. Okay. Um, uh, uh, okay. So that's one aspect of the story of Tulasi. The other one is there was a demon called Jalandhara. Okay, this Jalandhara has a wife called Brunda. Okay, and then this Jalandhara, he got one boon that he can live forever. And why is he able to live forever? Because his wife is so chaste that he gets to live forever. So so what he does, anybody who gets that kind of a blessing. So anytime somebody gets a boon like that, right? That they're immortal, nobody can kill them. What happens then? People become arrogant, and that's what happened to this Rakshasa Jalandhara. So he started to do all kinds of atrocities. And when he was doing it, Srihari, his job is to kill Rakshasas who are gone out of control, right? So what he does is, one day he comes to Brunda in the form of Jalandhara. And then she loses her chastity. And with the divine grace of again Krishna, Krishna becomes the mandiram, and she gets very upset, and so she curses Mahavishnu and tells him that he will be found in the form of Salagrama. And then Mahavishnu says, you have not lost your chastity. In fact, you are the purest of all. So he takes the form of the Brindavanam. The Brindavanam is what? We call the pot in which we plant tulasi, right? Or if you see in India, it has a certain shape to it, right? It has a certain shape to it. So that is called Brindavanam, and then that becomes Krishna himself, and Tulasi is the plant. So they are always together. Okay. And she curses him to become Shalagrama. And Krishna says, you will be worshipped. You will be used to worship me. And without you, there is no worship. He gives her that eternal Mangalakaram. He makes her eternal. He makes her very pious eternally. So, first puja always to be done to Tulasi and then offered to Narayana after that, right? So, yeah. So that's the story of how Tulasi ends up being with Salagrama, and then the Kalyanam is done every year. Okay. Now in Tulasi Mahatmyam, which Narayana tells Mahalakshmi, he says, Bhaktya sampujito nityam tulasyastu dalartatah swayam pratyakshamayati bhagavan haririshwaraha. So this is, tulasi is so pure to that you would take couple of leaves and offer. So Krishna, so Narayana says, tulasyastu dalartatah, even half tulasi leaf, okay, even half tulasi leaf if somebody offers, Swayam Srihari will yeah, he will give his darshanam. He will be sakshatkaram of Srihari is possible. Then tasmas sarva prayatnena. Yeah.
Mataji, half Tulasi, internet is lost.
Okay. Even if half
Half
tulasi
Tulasi.
leaf is offered, Srihari will do Swayam Sakshatkaram. So he will.
Thank you, Mataji.
What is Sakshatkaram in English? I don't know. But he will do Swayam
Appear.
Sakshatkaram. Huh?
Appear.
Appear. Yes, appear. 3 0 words. Okay. Then Tasmat Sarva Prayatnena Tulasya Komaler Dalehi Pujaniyo Mahabhakya Sarva Klesa Vinasanaha. Okay. So whoever does the Komaladalam, the tender leaves of Tulasi, if somebody takes that and that with Mahabhakti, with lot of bhakti, if they offer it to Sri Hari, all their klesham, their dukkam will be gone. And Ropita Tulasi Yavat Kurute Mula Vistaram Tavaddiva Sahasrani Brahmaloke Mahiyate. So whoever plants Tulasi, and when you plant, the what are those? The roots extend. So however far those roots extend, so many thousands of years, the person who has planted will get Brahmalokam. So however far that goes, so many years, so many thousands of years, they will get Brahmaloka Prapran. Okay. Tulasi Patra Samyukta Jale Snanam Cheredyadi Sarva Papa Vinirmukto Modate Vishnu Mandire. Okay. So Tulasi Dalam, if somebody uses Tulasi Patram and mixes in water and takes Snanam, takes a bath with it. So usually it is offered water. How is it? So we cannot use it directly for us, right? Because we can offer only. So when you do Tirumanjanam, when you do the Abhishekam, you always put Tulasi water in it. And then you do Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhim Kuru. We do that mantram, right, for water. Or you, whatever mantram you are initiated into, you take the bhavana of that mantram and you say everything gets purified with mantram, right? So you add a couple of tulasi leaves, and then once you bathe your deities in that water you can reuse to shower next day or something like that. And then you do prokshanam with that water, right? Because that's the water he bathed in. So if somebody gets to bathe with that water, prokshana, whatever it is, then that person, that person will lose all his papa and will be able to attain Vishnu Sanithyam. Okay. Then Brindavanam cha kurute ropanartham mahamune tavataiva vimuktaagho brahma bhuyaya kalpate. And whoever Brindavanam cha kurute, whoever constructs the Brindavanam, that person, he becomes he gains so much punyam that he is equal to that of Brahma himself. So constructing of Brindavanam is also considered to be as auspicious, okay, as pious a deed. Then Tulasi Kananam Brahman Gruhe Yasya Vatishtate Tadgruham Tirthaputam Tuna Yanti Yamakinkaraha. So whosoever home Tulasi Kananam Brahman Gruhe Yasya Vatishtate. So whosoever home has Tulasi Vanam. Tulasi Vanam is not like Vanam means, obviously homes cannot have Vanams means forest. Even 2-3 plants is considered to be Vanam, Tulasi Vanam. Okay. Whosoever home has Tulasi Vanam, that Gruham becomes a Punya Kshetram. And Yamabhatus, like followers of Yama will not go to that home. Okay. Then Sarva Papaharam Punyam Kamadam Tulasivanam Ropayanti Narasreshtaha Tena Pasyanti Bhaskarim. And then it says Sarva Papaharam Punyam. Tulasivanam will take out all the papam and give you all the punyam. And then blessed are those people, Ropayanti Narasreshtaha, they become Narasreshtas. They are so blessed. Tena Pasyanti Bhaskarim. So nobody that they are not visible to Yama himself. Okay. Then so we all drink, a lot of people are selling tulsi teas and other things, right? So usually our acharyas, they recommend not to chew under putting our, using our teeth, tulsi. No chewing or also boiling. This usually they don't recommend. But there are some, because tulsi is also our health. Later on as we see some of the shlokas, it makes our health better, right? Tulasi kashta samyuktam gandayo dharaye naraha taddeham na spruset papam kriyamanam tataivacha. So whoever tulasi kashta samyuktam, they take tulasi twigs or branches of tulasi, and then they grind it. Just like how chandanam when you rub, you get the chandanam, right? Chandanam stick if you take, and then you rub, you get the chandanam. Similarly, tulasi also, if you rub it on a nice sana, rai, whatever we call it, nunupuka, you kind of and then there is this liquid that comes from that, add a little water, and then that tulasi gandham, basically the tulasi gandham. Chandanam, we get the gandham rai, you gandham chakka, you take that sandalwood and then you grind it, not grind it, you kind of scrub it, and then you get the chandanam. Similarly, tulasi kashtam also, you get the gandham and then you apply it. And when you apply it, taddeham na spruset papam kriyamanam tataivacha. Nothing, nobody, no papam. will touch them. Okay, which means it is good for your health. Okay. Tulasi vipinachaya yatra chaiva bhaved dvija tatra sraddham prakartavyam pitrunam trupti hetave. So when people do shraddha karmas and all those things for their pitru devatas, then if they are able to do it under the shadow of a tulasi plant, then with that the pitru devatas will be very happy. Okay, there will be some trupti in doing shraddha karmas under the shadow of tulasi plants. Yanmukhe tulasi patram karne sirasi drusyate yamastam nekshitum sektaha kimuduta bhayankaraha. So some people put tulasi dalam in their ear or on top of their head, and then Yamadutas are very scared to go to a person who is wearing tulasi like that. Okay. Tulasya mahimam yastu shrunuyan nityamadritaha sarva papa vimuktatma brahmalokam sagacchati. So whoever listens to Tulasi Mahima all the time, that person will go to Brahmalokam. Darsanam Narmadayastu Ganga Snanam Tataivacha Tulasivana Samsarga Samamekatrayam Smrutam. So Darsanam Narmadayastu. If you take darshanam of Narmada, it is considered to be very auspicious. And Ganga Snanam Tataivacha. Whoever takes Ganga Snanam, that is also very auspicious. Tulasivana Samsarga Samamekatrayam Smrutam. So, if you, wherever Tulasi plant is, it is equivalent to Narmada Darshanam or Ganga Snanam, or wherever Tulasi plant is. It has the equal amount of, it has the punyam, the auspiciousness of the phalam that you get is all the same. Then Ropanat Palanat Sekat Darsanat Sparsanat Nrunam Tulasi Dahate Papam Vangmanakaya Sambhavam. Very nice sloka. And Ropanat Palanat Sekat. So if you plant tulasi or if you grow tulasi, if you water tulasi, darsanat, even if you see tulasi, sparsanat, even if you touch tulasi, nrunam, people if they do that, tulasi dahate papam, vangmanakaya sambhavam. See, we do lot of papam by saying things, right? By what we think, right? Manasa, vacha, kaya. With our body. We do lots of papam. But whoever is able to plant tulasi, grow tulasi, water tulasi, or even see tulasi, or touch tulasi, whatever you do, papam, whatever bad things we do with our mind, body, manasa, vacha, karmana, those will be wiped off. Okay? So you don't have to do much, right? This is so easy. Tulsi plant you can see. You don't have to do much. You can water tulsi. Try to grow tulsi. So it is so simple. Why? Because tulsi, physically also we know tulsi has lot of health benefits. Right? If there is one plant that is mind, body and soul, that's tulasi. Right? And they say, Tulasi Manjari Bhiryaha Kuryat Haripadarchanam Na Sagarbam Gruham Yati Mukti Bhagina Samsayaha. Whoever takes Tulasi Manjaris and offers it to Sri Hari's Divya Padam, that person, mat na sagarbham gruham yati. He will not get garbhanarakam again. And then he gets moksha. That means he'll get out of the life and death cycle. Simple thing is offer Tulasi manjaris. Pushkaradhyani tirthani Gangadhya saritastata. That's why I think Tyagaraja Swami says, Tulasi dalamulache santoshamuga pujintu. Palumaru chirakaram Paramatmuni padamulanu. So, if you are not Telugu speaking, Tulasi dalamulache santoshamuga pujintu. He says, I'll happily, Tyagaraja Swami says, or Ramachandra, if I'll happily worship your feet, Tulasi, with Tulasi dalam, palumaru chilakalam, all my life, multiple times, I will just do that. So that's what Tyagaraja Swami says. Why? Because you do that, Matru Garbha Narakam is, we will not go through the cycle of life and death again. Pushkaradhyani tirthani Gangadhya saritastata Vasudevadayo devaha tishtanti Tulasidale. So, what resides in Tulasidalam? That it is so auspicious. All Pushkaradi Tirtham, all the rivers, all the rivers, Pushkaradi Tirtham, and then Gangadhya Saritasata, all the rivers like Ganga and everything, and then Vasudevadayo Devaha, Vasudeva and all the other Devatas, they all are present in Tulasi Dalam. Tulasi Manjari Yukto Yastu Pranan Vimunchati Yemopi Nekshitum Saktaha Yuktam Papa Satairapi. So whoever wears this Tulasi Manjari, and then if they leave their body wearing the Tulasi, then that person, even if he is a papatma, even if he has committed lot of sins, Yama will not even look at him with his eye. Forget about taking him away. Okay, he will not. So, wearing a kantimala is very, very important because nobody wants to go to go with Yama, right? That's not the point. Then, Vishnu Sayujyam apnoti satyam satyam rupottama Tulasi kashtajam yastu chandanam dharaye nara. And whoever wears this Tulasi kashtam, like rubbing the Tulasi, like we were saying, he will attain Vishnu Sayujyam, Tulasi Gandham, whoever wears it, they will attain Vishnu Sayujyam. And what are they saying? Satyam Satyam Rupottama. And this is true. And this is true. Satyam Satyam. So anytime in our literature, in our Vangmayam, every time they say Satyam Satyam, if they are saying it twice like that, which means it is true. It is that's like a 100% statement that will happen. Okay, Satyam Satyam Rupottama, and that's whoever wears that chandanam, they will get Vishnu Sayujyam. So,
Mataji, good question.
Yeah.
Quick question. Tulasi Dharam is what?
Tulasi leaves. Dalam means leaves. Tulasi leaves.
Leaves. Okay, not like the, as you said, the rubbing, the juice that comes out after rubbing. That, not that.
You have to wear. That you
Okay.
have to, the chandanam, the
Chandan.
gandha or the when you scrub it, you get like sandalwood. If you scrub it, what
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
Similarly, tulasi also, if you scrub it, you get the gandham.
But that you said, Mataji, that is from the stem of the
Yeah.
tulsi. And the dharam is from the tulsi leaves, is it?
Dalam means tulasi. Dalam means tulasi
Okay.
leaves.
Okay, tulsi leaves by themselves. Okay.
This is tulasi kashtam.
Okay.
Kashtam is the branches.
Okay.
Okay.
Mataji,
thank you.
in Krishna Ashtakam, we have that Avapta Tulasi Gandham.
Right, Mataji.
uh,
That is same thing or
Avapta Tulasi Gandham.
Krishnam Mande Jagadgurum.
He's full of Tulasi Gandham means he's fragrant with Tulasi, right? He was always wearing Tulasi Mala, so he's fragrant with Tulasi Gandham, right? He smells like Tulasi,
Okay.
right? Avapta Tulasi Gandham. Which charanam is that? Which shloka?
उत्पलपत्र पद्माक्षं नीलजीवितसन्निभं. No, I don't think so. The other one.
మందారగంధ సంయుక్తం చారుహాసం చతుర్భుజం బలిపించావచూడాంగం. ఓకే. అవాప్తి తులసీగంధం కృష్ణం వందే గోపికాన. ఓకే. రుక్మిణీకేళి సంయుక్తం పీతాంబర సుశోభితం అవాప్త తులసీగంధం. రుక్మిణీకేళి సంయుక్తం పీతాంబర సుశోభితం అవాప్త తులసీగంధం. యా, తులసీగంధం ఇస్ ఫ్రేగ్రెంట్ తులసి.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Tulasi Kashta Sambhutam Yomalam Vahate Naraha Prayaschittam na tasyasti Nasaucham tasya vigrahe. So whoever wears this Tulasi Kashtam, whoever wears the mala, Tulasi mala, that person has no prayaschittam to do. Okay? That person has no prayaschittam to do. Like, if you do something, then sometimes, we do something bad, then you have to do prayaschittam for that. So whoever wears that Tulasi mala need not do prayaschittam. Okay? Next. Tulasi kashta mala bihi bhushito punyamachare pitrunam devatanam cha punyam koti gunam bhave. And then whoever wears this Tulasi mala and then they do the Devata Aradhana or Pitru Aradhana, then they get, when you do your Aradhanam every day, your puja in the morning, then whoever does that with wearing this, it will be adhikam, it will be multiplied. The punyam will be multiplied. That it becomes a lot more auspicious. And then Tulasi Kashtamalam tu Pretarajasya Dutakaha Društva Nasyamti Durena Vatoddutam Yathadalam. And then Yamakinkaras, when they see this Tulasi Malika, then they will run away like the Vayu has kicked them away. Okay, like how leaves just fly away when there is wind. Similarly, people, when Yamakinkaras see somebody is wearing this Tulasi Mala, they will fly away. That's what they're saying. Okay, they get kicked away. Yadgruhe Tulasi Kashtam Patram Sushka Madhatrakam Bhavanti Tadgruhe Naiva Papam Sankramate Kalo. So in Kaliyugam, whosoever home has Tulasi Kashtam, dried Tulasi sticks, or has even dried dalam, dried leaves in their home, or fresh leaves, then that home is always considered to be auspicious. Okay? Papam sankramate kalu. There is no way papam enters into it, And then Manikanchana pushpani yatha muktamayani cha tulasi patra danasya kalam narhanti shodasim. So you may give somebody danam. You can give somebody a danam, pearls or rubies or whatever it is you can do, or gold or flowers. But if you give one Tulasi Dala Danam, okay, then so whatever you give, all those things, gold, other things, it is not equal to 1/16th of giving Tulasi Daladhanam. Okay, which means Tulasi Dalam Dhanam is considered to be of higher, of better Dhanam than giving even gold to others.
Mini Tulabharam also same.
Similar, yeah, like Tulabharam. Varjam paryushitam pushpam, varjam paryushitam jalam, navarjam tulasi patram, navarjam jahnavi jalam. So, if you keep flowers for too long, what happens? They wilt away and you have to throw them away, right? And then if you keep water for too long, what happens? That also gets spoiled, right? But only tulasi leaves or Ganga Jalam, even if they stay for very long, they do not get contaminated, which means you can use dry tulasi also. Okay, next. Vallabham tulasi patram kaustubhadadikam mama abhinnapatra tulasi rudyamanjari samyuta. So Narayana has this Kaustuba mani on his chest, right? Vallabham tulasi patram. So Narayana, Srihari, he likes this tulasi dalam lot more than Kaustuba mani. So that's what is it. And tulasi nayesha mama pujanartham sampaditaikadasi punya vasare dik yauvanam jeevitam artha santatihi tesham sukam neha cha drusyate sare. So on Ekadashi days, if somebody is unable to procure tulasi dalam, that person's youth, life, children, his life, everything is of no use. And then they do not have any happiness anywhere. So what the point being that it is very important to do puja, your aradhana with tulasi dalam on Ekadashi at least. Okay, it's very, very important. Akrushna Pyathava Krishna Tulasi Mama Vallabha Sitava Visyatavvapi Dwadasi Vallabhayata. And then the Krishna Tulasi or Rama Tulasi, whatever it is, both of them are Krishna's favorites. Krishna Paksha Dwadasi, Suddha Paksha Dwadasi. Those are also Krishna's favorites. Similarly, Krishna Tulasi, they are all Krishna's favorites. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it is Krishna Tulasi or the white Tulasi, the Shweta Tulasi. But both of them, Krishna likes them. Gruhitva Tulasi Patram Bhaktya Yomam Samarchayet Architam Tena Sakalam Sadeva Suramanusham. And Krishna says, even if somebody is worshipping me with just one tulasi leaf, that person, it means that they have worshipped everybody, all the devatas. Okay, so even if they are able to worship with one tulasi leaf, that also Krishna is very happy. Krishnam Krishna Tulasyahi Yobhaktya Pujayen Naraha Sayati Bhuvanam Subram Yatra Vishnu Sriyasaha. And whoever worships Krishna with Krishna Tulasi, Krishnam Krishna Tulasya, whoever worships Krishna with Krishna Tulasi, then that person reaches Sayati Bhuvanam Subram. That person reaches Vaikuntadamam. Mamarchanartham Bhikshunam Yachanti Tulasidalam Anyeshamapi Bhaktanam Yanti Te Padamavyayam. So, so somebody who goes and asks, I have to do Krishna Aradhanam. Can you give me some tulasi leaves? If somebody asks, and then somebody gives them. Both, whoever asks and whoever gives, both of them will get the Saswata Paramapadam, Padamavyayam. Krishna, Tulasi Krishna Gauraya, Taya Yomam Samarchayet, Naroyati Tanam Tyaktva, Vaishnavam Saswatam Padam. So whoever worships with Krishna Tulasi or white Tulasi, whoever worships Narayana with that, they get the Vaishnavam Saswatam Padam. Okay, they will get the Saswata Vaishnava Padam, Vishnu Padam. This is all part of the Skanda Puranam, Ashtama Adhyaya. Okay, and then there is another story that this happened during in Narada Puranam. It is mentioned. Okay, there was this Brahmana. He was Brahmana for the sake of the name Brahmana, and he was a farmer. Okay, so somehow he has to feed himself, right? So what he would do, he would go and do farming, and then if he do it does farming, and then he earned a little bit. He bought a little bit of land. He started farming a little bit more, and then um, he got a few cattle and everything, and then somehow was feeding himself. So he was Brahmana by birth, but doing farming and everything. So once he got all these cattle and everything, what he did was every day he would go and get some grass because he has to feed his cows. So when he was going that day once, um, he cut a lot of grass and then made a huge stack of that. And then he realized that the stack of grass had beautiful smell to it. And then he was wondering, what is this really great smell in this? And then he's never seen that. And then he says, oh, this smell really good. Maybe the cows eat the cows eat these leaves, and then they will also be very happy because it is really very fragrant. So he stacks up that fragrant leaves also, and puts it on his head and takes it to his home. Is on his the way to home. So one the leaves, obviously that he plucked, the fragrant ones, are none other than Tulasi. So he has that on his head and he's walking home. He's going to his home, but he didn't realize he is in full danger. What happens is, not knowing, when he was cutting that grass, at the same time there was a snake in that grass that gets into this huge um, that stack of grass he has. And he was carrying it on his head. So there is a snake inside the stack of grass he was carrying, and then he didn't know what to do. But I mean, because he's not aware of it, so he keeps going, and then after some time, we all know Tulasi is Amrita Janma. What is Amrita Janma? Amrita Janmasi. That's why we say, I told you right in the beginning, that she was born out of tears of joy. So wherever Tulasi is there, she will not make them cry, right? So he is carrying Mother Tulasi on his head, and she is Amrita Janma. So she won't hurt anybody who is closer to her. And whoever is carrying Tulasi, not just wearing it as necklace or anything, putting in their ear also, we said, right? Whoever he's carrying on his head. So that person becomes Parama Pavitram. Okay. So so Yama already gave instructions to his soldiers. He said, don't trouble anybody who is carrying Tulasi. And then, so these two Yama's soldiers, they are just waiting so that this farmer gets home, and then he takes the stack of grass off his head, and then they can take his life. Okay, that's what they will be planning. And then none of these things the Brahmana is aware of. He is like oblivious to all of this stuff. So he keeps moving. And then after some time, when he goes there, he sees another Brahmana who is walking towards him. And then this Brahmana is somebody who is very proficient in Vedas, and he also worships Sriman Narayana all the time. And then he is always in meditation of Sri Hari. Okay, and then he would wear that Tulasi Mala and worship with Tulasi Narayana every day. And then he was also his neighbor. So then when he sees this farmer coming from the opposite direction, because he's he does all his austerities every day, he is able to see that this farmer is carrying his death on his head and walking, right? And then he also sees the soldiers of Yama, walking behind this um, our farmer. And so he asked the Yama soldiers, Yamakinkaras, he will ask, why are you going behind him? And then they say, how come he is able to see us? Perhaps then they realize only Srihari's devotees, Narayana's devotees, will be able to see them. And so they tell everything. There is this snake that he is carrying, and then as soon as he takes off the stack of grass, we are ready to take his life. And then this Brahmana is Paramadayalu. What he does is, he does I feel sorry for the farmer that is carrying Mrityu on his head. I have to somehow rescue him. And then he says, he goes and talks to the Yamakinkaras. He says, you are Yama's soldiers, we know that. And is there any way that you can avert this tragedy for this farmer? Don't kill him. And so because he's a Paramadayalu, right? Like, is there a way that you can escape? And then the Yamakinkaras, seeing this Vaidika Brahmana, they say, we are only following Yama's Agnya, whatever he gives us directions, that's what we have to follow. But we will give you an idea how to save him. See, Sriman Narayana always carries he's always wearing a Tulasi Mala, and you worship him with Tulasi Mala every day. So, what you can do is, because you worship him with Tulasi flowers every day, whatever punyam that you have accrued, if one day's punyam, if you are able to give to the farmer, then this Durmaranam, he will not meet his fate today, his death today. So the Brahmana is so, Brahmana, there are three kinds of men, right? Adama, Madhyama, and Uttama. Adama people, they have their sampada, their wealth and everything, so that they can trouble others. Madhyama, they earn for themselves and they spend for themselves. Uttama is they earn and spend for others, for those who are in need. Right? This Brahmana is a Uttama. Why? Because he is accrued a lot of punyam through his good deeds. So he's like, it's okay. I will forego one day of punyam that I have accrued and give it to the farmer. And how did he accrue it? He accrued it through worshipping Narayana with Tulasi leaves. And so, he offers it to them, and then the Yamakinkaras leave, and then Yamakinkaras leave. Then after they get home, this farmer also sees that there is a snake, and then the Brahmana tells him the entire story, and then he says, I have given one day of my punyam so that you can be rescued. And then he also, then the farmer realizes, you accrue so much of goodness by worshipping Narayana every day. And since then, he also starts to worship Narayana with uh, with uh, with Tulasi. Why? The point being, so what happens when you worship with Tulasi? First of all, there is Tulasi Gandham. The smell is so good of Tulasi. Fresh Tulasi. If the mala is fresh, you get It's so good. It keeps you, the smell it got really great fragrance. It keeps you, it makes you feel that freshness, right? And then no matter whatever other flowers you put, one thin line of jasmine and one mala of tulasi, and a lot of our worship is associated with these fragrances, right? And they say if you offer a wick dipped in ghee, and the wick made out of this tulasi twig, and light lamps with that, especially during this Kartik Mass and all, it is considered to be very, very auspicious. The burning of the twig or planting of tulasi, the fragrance of the air around tulasi, everything is good. Why? Anything that uh, our texts have prescribed us are always good for body, mind, and soul, or our Atma, right? They're all good for it. We all keep going back and back to Tulasi. Why? And it grows everywhere in India. It has Aushadha Gunas. It has, it keeps, it's, if I see, it prevents from getting lot of, you take it as a medicine every day. You take Tulsi Tirtham every day. Literally leaves are soaked in water, right? You take Tulsi Tirtham in every day, then it gives you no Roga Nirodhaka Shakti, right? It prevents you from getting any diseases, and any cold, cough, lot of things. And then Tulasi Kashtam, it keeps your body cool. Okay, Tulasi Kashtam. And again, if you look at any Ayurveda or anything that is herbal, they say everything will have a little bit of Tulasi in it, right? Tulasi for skin problems, or anything that gut has problems, Tulasi leaves. Throat, Tulasi leaves. Some people put it in eyes, right, for better vision or some issues. So Tulasi is good for all. There is one medicine that cures everything, or one medicine that prevents you. Um, so it's good for the body, and the smell of it. The smell of it is the fragrance. The smell is so good. So anything, it clears up. Again, for the body, it is really good. The fragrances keep your mind calm. Right? The moment you light an agarbatti, the entire, the ambience changes. Right? So there's so much that our Puranams, our Itihasams, they have put value to Tulasi. So we have to understand the greatness of that and use in our worship, as well as in see the not just the medicinal impact of it, mostly not just the medicinal impact of it, but the purity of it, and treat Tulasi with respect. Okay, so Tulasi needs to be watered regularly, and usually there are some other rules, right? Like Tuesdays and Fridays, or on Dwadashi days, we don't pick Tulasi leaves. And you do not touch Tulasi plant whenever you want. You keep that sanctity of Tulasi. Yeah. Yeah, these are the rules. So yeah, so many like headaches Tulasi kashtam thing. If you put it on your head, you don't get headache, and it's stress reliever. The smell of tulasi is stress reliever. Mouth infections will be gone if you take tulasi. Eye disorders will be gone, and teeth disorders you won't get. So, yeah. So those are all that's all the information we could, we found, in Padma Puranam and Skanda Puranam, it's given for us.
And Mataji, one question.
Yeah.
So, Tulsi plant to which we are performing puja, we should not pluck those leaves and offer to God.
We can. We
Uh,
can.
Some people are telling don't use those leaves to, I mean, from which plant you are performing puja, you should not offer those leaves. You have to plant one more Tulsi plant and use those leaves for puja like that.
Yeah, some people say that, but no, you can just use it. You can use it.
Okay. Thank
Yeah. If it is
Mataji,
too
there are
small, don't try to pluck all the time.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
Mataji, why is Tulsi Vibha being done on Saturday at our temple?
I don't know. I wanted to ask, I forgot the. In Bellevue Temple, they did it last week.
So it was very confusing, Mataji, because Drik Pangchang said that Tulsi Vibha was on Sunday, 2nd November.
Yeah, it is on 2nd November. I think the temple is celebrating on 9th. That's it.
And then on Vaishnava calendar, it was today. But
Not today, definitely not today.
no, it is there on my, I have subscribed to the Vaishnava calendar. It is showing up today. Tulsi Shaligram Vivaha.
Mm.
November.
It is we celebrate after Ekadasi day, after Ekadasi, Dwadasi.
It's on it's next Sunday, right? 9th.
No, in the temple, yes, but on the Vaishnava calendar that I have subscribed to, it is showing up as today for some reason. I'm
No,
not
it's
sure.
celebrated on Dvadashi, right?
Yeah, we celebrate on Dwadasi.
Yeah.
So that was 2nd November, right, Mataji?
That was 2nd November. Yeah. 2nd. Yeah, 2nd November. Yeah.
So Mataji, if we are not able to do puja on 2nd November, then do we get some grace period to still perform this Vivaha?
I don't know because that day is over, right? But you do the celebration many a times in here, at least in this, here, if we are not able to celebrate on that day, then people end up celebrating on the weekend. That's what is going on. That's it.
Okay. Okay, Mataji.
Salagrama Tulasi Vivaham they do whenever, usually sometimes it comes in weekends, then what, weekdays, what do we do? Celebrate over the weekend.
Okay. So
Mataji, there are different types of Tulasi, like Krishna Tulasi, Rama Tulasi, like that.
Yeah.
So which is very like good for puja?
Then both of them are favorite to him, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's saying both of them are his favorites.
So Mataji, I have a Rama Tulsi as well as a Krishna Tulsi.
Very nice.
No, I have gone through, I don't have a green thumb, Mataji, so I have gone through a few Tulsi Maharanis myself, but I'm not sure what happened this summer. By Krishna's mercy, I'm really not sure what happened, but I got some, they're growing well. And I planted some manjiris, and I because I didn't have, I know I don't have good luck with plants. I just sprinkled them, and so many saplings came, Mataji.
You still have some, we'll take.
Yes, Mataji, I do have actually, and I'm not sure what is happening. It's like on steroids. It's like I've never seen such big tulsi leaves. Like They're almost 2 inches big. Not sure, but Mataji, any advice on like if the tulsi is growing wider and not like she's like it's growing wider?
Okay, right, Mataji, even if she's growing wider,
Okay.
that's true. Let's, yes, yeah, sometimes she makes a canopy of herself. We had like two like that. So
Mhm.
basically, what we have to see when it comes to Tulasi Salagram or Krishna is Krishna fulfills our deepest desires and be with him always. That's what he does with Tulsi, right? And it's a great celebration of Tulsi Viva. It's a great celebration of how one devotee's love is reciprocated by Krishna. He honors her, right? Just the way she wants it to be. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. I that pruning experience has been so.
Tulasi's devotion is permanent for Krishna. After her, she gets cursed. It doesn't end there. That's the beauty.
Mm.
So
But
much is there in everybody's home, and she becomes like the primary for offering Krishna. Any devotion for Krishna, first thing is Tulasi. So, yeah, here Mataji always said, as Tulasi grows, bhakti is growing.
Mm. But Mataji, the plant that died because I pruned it too much. That is papam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's no. Always remember this, Mataji. We are people, and things happen, and we learn.
Mm.
Okay, we cannot be masters from first time on. So don't be too hard on yourself. It's the way it is, and then eventually, once we understand things little bit better, how many things we would have done wrong. You know, as recently, one of my tulsi plants, she didn't survive because I mean, we know, but still didn't realize it was root rot.
Mm-hmm.
One day we kept outside because it was summer. Suddenly it rained. The water soaked up too much and the water became too hard. The
Mm-hmm.
soil became too hard. So and then it just didn't stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Could be because of that. And I was thinking, why is she not growing well?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. That is the thing, Mataji. No, thank you. I appreciate it because not having any faith in myself and my planting abilities, and after the pruning incident, I'm very wary of touching her, in the wrong way.
Mhm.
So even manjaris, I very I remove them only if I feel they've grown long enough and I have to cut them. Um, yeah. Thank
Mataji, Krishna is all love. Please don't be afraid of anything. And I think that sets us free. Krishna is all love. Prabhuji, you raised your hand.
Thank
What
you,
do
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ma.
మాతాజీ ఈ ఆఫర్ చేసినప్పుడు కానీ నెక్స్ట్ మేము తీసుకునేటప్పుడు తీర్థం తీసుకునేటప్పుడు కానీ ఈ యొక్క తులసిని వస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పిన ప్రకారం తులసిని మనం పళ్ళతో టచ్ చేయొద్దు అని అన్నారు కదా, అది ఎంతవరకు ఏ విధంగా మేము జాగ్రత్త తీసుకోవాలి ఆ విషయం?
అంటే లీవ్స్ చాలా మటుకు మింగేస్తాము. దట్స్ వాట్ వీ బీన్ డూయింగ్. బట్ పంటి కింద వేసి కొరకకూడదు అని అంటారు. యాజ్ ఫార్ యాజ్ దట్స్ వాట్ I've learned from our Upanyasams. That's what we learned. That should not bite Tulasi. బట్ తీర్థం ఇచ్చినప్పుడు పడుతుంది కదా ఒకటో రెండో. సో మింగేసేయచ్చు. అంత పెద్ద గట్టి ఇవేం వేయరు కదా, కాష్టం గట్టిది ఉన్నది వేయరు.
మోర్ పాయింట్ మాతాజీ, ఈ
Yeah.
యొక్క హెల్త్ పర్పస్ లో కూడా మీరు తీసుకోవచ్చు అని చెప్పారు కదా ఇప్పుడు ఒక తులసి లీవ్ను. మరి ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో కూడా మేము తీసుకోవచ్చా? డబ్బు మీరు ఇంతకుముందు చెప్పారు కదా, పీతేకున్న
I didn't hear you. చెప్పండి ఏమంటున్నారు?